breeding programmed automatons. Continuing on our shadow docs is the Trilateral Commission. They hike gas prices, cause economic crisis and break countries' sovereignty, putting the difference in their banks and then lending out in situations that will put countries in indentured servitude. They are a cocky bunch of multinational and World Bank CEOs hiding in plain sight.
You know, I think Pat's coming quickly. Soon I think he's going to be in a position for the Trilateral Commission. And if he shows promise beyond that, there's Bilderberg. World control, Pat. Settle for nothing else.
The Trilateral Commission has controlled all the presidencies to date for a multinational corporate agenda. They make up 3/4 of upper government.
For years now, it's been claimed by many, and there's pretty good evidence that those who are involved in the Trilateral Commission and the Council of Foreign Relations usually ends up in positions of power. And I believe this is true. But I think this is an important point here because I think money is involved here, power is involved, and oil is involved.
Their founders Brzezinski, who co-opted Carter noting his Tokyo trade deals and also groomed Obama, founded the Trilateral with David Rockefeller. Bush and Clinton were trilateral. Since Carter's Brzezinski has been enacting his 4-step process of stripping national sovereignty with a velvet sledgehammer. The first step is a sort of divisionism made by manipulating the world market over everyone's head. The next move is pushing a botched nationalism which we see in the Republican Party. Then a botched Marxism which we see with the Democrats. The 4th stage which we are in is the technocratic takeover, where technology and the government race forward at a pace that kills civil liberty and supersedes general knowledge.
With a capital T, however, is an altogether different thing. It is in fact a replacement economic system based on energy distribution and consumption run by engineers, scientists, and technicians.
Currently Kissinger and Volcker carry out the trilateral agenda and have become good friends with Trump. Trump had come to London the night of the Bilderberg conference.
And while serving in the administrations, he flagrantly violated U.S. law time and time again in Laos, Bangladesh, Cyprus, East Timor, and Chile. In a Media Roots article titled Why Henry Kissinger Should Be Tried at The Hague, author Andy Piaskik talks about how Kissinger was one of the chief architects of the U.S.-backed coup in Chile. See, in 1973, the CIA generously supported the overthrow of Chile's democratically elected government of Salvador Allende. And what followed was 16 years of oppression, torture, and death under the fascist regime of Augusto Pinochet, along with a steady flow of resources and profits to multinational corporations. Furthermore, during Nixon's presidency, it was Kissinger who oversaw illegal bombing campaigns that slaughtered millions of Indo-Chinese civilians across Vietnam, Cambodia, and Laos. This number doesn't even take into account the countless thousands more that have died in the years since from exposure to the toxic chemical Agent Orange.
There has been a psyop with controlled media since the inception of the Trilateral Commission. Like this episode of Barney Miller, where every word this intentionally depicted crazy guy says is absolutely true.
They're the ones you should be arresting, not me.
Why didn't you say that before? What
do we got here?
Cam, this is William Klein. He was wrecking an office.
But I just wanted to meet them face to face. I wanted them to admit what they were doing.
Who is they? He was in the office of the Trilateral Commission.
Trilateral Commission?
Yeah, the Trilateral Commission.
All right, what is the Trilateral Commission?
It's an organization founded in 1973 by David Rockefeller to bring together business and political leaders from the United States, Europe, Japan, so they could work together for better economic and political cooperation between their nations.
And that's what they'd like us to believe. But you see, what they're really up to is a scheme to plant their own loyal members in positions of power in this country, to work to erase national boundaries and create an international community, and in time bring about a one-world government with David Rockefeller calling the shots.
I take it they're pressing charges?
Yeah, well, he broke a globe and some UNICEF artwork.
Well, they're in on it too.
Okay, Mr. Klein, if you just...
I'm telling you, our whole way of life as we know it is in jeopardy.
I appreciate that information.
But I have the documented evidence. It's all in there. Show him.
Well, he's got these magazines here.
Conspiracy Review? Suppressed Truth Roundup?
The whole master plan is exposed.
Yeah, well,
You're still not convinced, huh? Would you like to hear the names of just a few of the people who have been on the Trilateral Commission?
not particularly.
James Earl Carter. Heard of him?
Look, Mr. Klein...
Henry Kissinger. You heard of him? Walter Mondale.
Who? Mr. Klein, this is
John Anderson, George Bush. Now, you remember at the convention, everybody thought it was going to be Ford for Veep. You know what happened? David Rockefeller just picked up a phone, put in a call. Hey, Ronnie, forget Jerry, it's George. Bye. So, no matter who won in November, they had their man in the White House.
Are you through?
They hide in plain sight. They never have well-known members until they leave to take over government.
In fact, one of the Commission's rules prevents members from holding public office during their membership. This doesn't mean they can never hold public office.
However, we were pleasantly surprised to find that Michael Flynn, who had introduced a trilateral into Trump's cabinet, had been shortly thereafter canned for lying about Russian intel with a globalist agenda. But trilateralist Kenneth Juster had been appointed to head the economy and in charge of national security. We were ready to tear into him, but the Trump administration found him to be undercutting national sovereignty in pursuit of a globalist agenda, and he got demoted and sent to be ambassador of India. Enjoy India, asshole. But Reagan was speaking against the trilaterals initially until he got leveraged in the presidency to appoint 287 trilaterals. We have already seen Trump come against NATO, which strong arms third world countries for banks. But he has changed his tune. We have found in trilateral documents interest also in population control. We have a trilateral docs in a past have been under the video. We are an idea. You cannot kill an idea. We will not forgive. We will not forget. Expect us.